Beijing. Chinese President Xi Jinping has pledged to continue to broaden market access and expand imports as part of the country's efforts to pursue a higher quality of openness. Mr. Xi made the remarks on Thursday while meeting global business leaders at the Diaoyutai State Guest House in Beijing. This year marks the 40th anniversary of China's reform and opening up. Mr. Xi said all the business leaders at the meeting had contributed to and benefited from the Chinese policy. Foreign capital, he said, had played an important role in the country's reform and opening up, adding that China's door will not close, but open even wider. Mr. Xi said China would continue to ease restrictions on market access, create a more attractive environment for investment, take more measures to protect intellectual property, and establish an easier and more orderly environment for domestic and foreign investors. In the past 4 decades, China had experienced great changes, with its economy growing rapidly and over 700 million people being lifted out of poverty by United Nations standards, he said. Opening up, he noted, had been the key to China's development. He encouraged international companies to cooperate with Chinese enterprises. Commenting on the global economy, Mr. Xi said trade protectionism had risen. Likening the international community to a global village, he said countries should not engage in zero-sum games. International rules, the president said, should be jointly written by all countries, with the fruits of development to be shared by all. His comments came as the United States and China, the world's 2 largest economies, have been embroiled in an escalating trade war. U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday threatened to hit $200 billion ($272 billion) of Chinese imports with 10% tariffs if China retaliated against his previous targeting of $50 billion in imports. China's Commerce Ministry on Thursday accused the U.S. of being capricious over bilateral trade issues, and warned that the interests of U.S. workers and farmers would ultimately be hurt by Washington's penchant for brandishing big sticks. Amid the war of words, Chinese state media yesterday kept up the offensive. In an editorial, the official China Daily said U.S. protectionism was self-defeating and symptom of paranoid illusions that must not distract China from its path to modernization. The English-language paper said the U.S. had failed to understand that the business it does with China supported millions of American jobs. Research by the Rhodium Group, it said Chinese investment in the U.S. had declined 92% to $1.8 billion in the first 5 months of the year, its lowest level in 7 years. The woes the administration is inflicting on Chinese companies do not simply translate into boons for U.S. enterprises and the U.S. economy, it said. The fast-shrinking Chinese investment in the U.S. reflects the damage being done to China-U.S. trade relations by the trade crusade of Trump and his trade hawks, it added. The Global Times, a widely read tabloid published by the ruling Communist Party's official People's Daily, said China should keep promoting its own economic development and ensure its growth exceeds that of the U.S. in both quantity and quality. As long as China can effectively utilize its successful policies and experiences accumulated since the reform and opening up, and avoid subversive mistakes, the country will see robust momentum for development, it said. China Daily, Asia News Network, Reuters. See Business.